Routh, the man accused of trying to assassinate President Donald Trump at his golf course in West Palm Beach, has been found guilty on all charges. This trial has been anything but ordinary. Routh chose to defend himself even though he has no legal training or courtroom experience. For 3 hours on Monday, he argued his own case, but his defense came after prosecutors had already called more than 3 dozen witnesses over the course of 2 weeks. In his defense, Routh called only 3 people to the stand, a firearms expert and 2 longtime friends. At one point, he asked his friend Marshall Hinshaw if he believed him to be a violent person. Hinshaw told the court that Routh had always seemed gentle and peaceful, but that testimony stood in sharp contrast to the evidence the prosecutors had presented. Routh admitted that he wrote a letter outlining plans to kill Trump, a letter the prosecution used as proof that this was a calculated, premeditated attack. Throughout the trial, Judge Eileen Cannon had to remind Routh to follow courtroom rules. She warned him several times not to turn his arguments into personal testimony. On Monday, she gave him one final warning before closing arguments, saying that any statement he made must connect directly to the evidence. Both sides were given just under 2 hours each to make their final pitch to the jury. Judge Cannon then instructed the jurors, reminding them that Routh's statement as his own lawyer were not evidence. Only sworn testimony and admitted exhibit could be considered. Prosecutors painted a very clear picture. They said Routh carefully planned the attack, buying a military-grade rifle, tracking Trump's movement, and using multiple burner phones to hide his action. On the day of the incident, Routh allegedly hid in the bushes of Trump's Palm Beach golf course. Armed with the rifle, he managed to get within a few hundred yards of Trump before a Secret Service agent spotted the weapon sticking out of the tree. Routh fled the scene but was later captured by local deputies on a nearby highway. The most serious charges he faced was attempted assassination of presidential candidate. To convict on that charge, jurors only needed to believe he intended to kill Trump and not significant steps toward carrying out the plan, even if he later backed out. In addition to the charge, Routh was found guilty of assaulting a federal officer, illegally possessing a firearm as a felon, using a weapon with defaced serial number, and carrying a firearm during a violent crime. Taken together, those convictions meant Routh could spend the rest of his life in prison.